He was just watching the dog for me.
He had the dog for 4 months, feeding it, taking it to the vet.
Why would I give him a $10,000 dog?
I don't give a rat's behind.
The dog is good, it's my dog.
I don't give a rat's behind. Do you understand?
This is Judy Justice. Anthony Williams is suing his family friend, Michael Bowers, for stealing his French bulldog.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
Hello, Kevin.
Case 3103, Williams versus Bowers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Williams, your case is a relatively simple one. It is your claim that Mr. Bowers, who you knew, gave you a dog.
Correct.
And then took the dog back.
Stole the dog back, yes.
Took the dog back and refuses to return him. It's a male dog.
Yes.
The defendant says you were just supposed to watch this dog temporarily because he breeds dogs and he and his family were moving and they moved into a place where they couldn't keep dogs, but that he could keep dogs. And he says right now he doesn't even have the dog, whose name is Gizmo, because he breeds dogs with a partner. And the dog has been at this partner's house for breeding for how long?
It's been a few months now, ever since I got the dog back from Anthony.
You have to know something. I know something about dog breeding. And I know that a male dog doesn't have to stay there during the course of an entire breeding of the 63 days that it takes to gestate a puppy. Because I know that you modified your answer, and your modified answer to his complaint is, I don't even have the dog, and I can't interrupt the breeding of the dog, which takes months, and that's baloney. So I want you to know that I know that's baloney.
Yes, Your Honor. We was breeding the dog with multiple dogs. So we have a boy dog, and we have 3 females. So we breeded with one, and it was like a process. We just kept them together. That's why they...
Now you're going to get him back. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your friend's name?
Logan Jean Pierre.
Sarah's going to find him. Telephone number.
I have it in my phone.
Get it. Get ready, Miss Rose.
Oh, it's going.
All right. 678.
Now put the phone down. Now tell me where he lives, because he's your partner, so you have to know where he lives.
In Norcross, Georgia.
Okay. Sarah Rose.
Sure.
Where'd you go give this fellow a call?
Sure.
And find out what the status of Gizmo is.
Sure.
Okay, now I'm coming to you, Mr. Williams.
Yes.
So while Sarah's getting that information, this is what your case is about. According to you, he contacted you. He said, can you take care of this dog? Do you want this dog?
Yes.
We're moving and we can't keep the dog. You said yes. When did that happen?
He called me on April the 12th of 2023.
And you knew the dog. What kind of dog is it?
It's a French bulldog.
How much does it weigh?
I think when it's 28 pounds.
So that's called a Frenchie. They're small
Yes, a
dogs.
Frenchie.
They're Frenchie. They're small dogs.
Yes.
Do you have a photograph?
Yes.
May I see it? And you knew Mr. Bowers how?
He's a family friend.
I'm calling in regards to Michael Bowers and a dog.
How many dogs did you have on April 12th, 2023?
I have 2 dogs that I own myself.
Males or females?
Both of them are males.
And your partner, how many females does he have?
I don't really know. The last time I saw was 2 there.
When was the last time you went over there?
I was over there a couple of weeks ago.
Cute. How old is the dog?
He's 2 years old.
Okay. When, for the first time, did Mr. Bowers indicate to you that he wanted the dog back? He said he wanted the dog back for breeding.
That would have been in July, but he was only supposed to have the dog for 2 days.
Just a second. So for a full 4 months, you had the dog.
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me what happened in July.
Can I go back a little bit before that? The defendant, when he delivered the dog to me, the dog was in bad condition. I had to bathe the dog. I had to take him to get his nails cut. He had no shots, so I had to spend hundreds of dollars taking him to the vet to get his shots, and I have the paperwork from the vet.
I have shots for the dog. The dog already had shots before he got there.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Also, Your Honor, I got extra shots for the dog because when I spoke to the vet for a French bulldog, since they have smashed in faces,
Just 1 second.
You asked Mr. Bowers to take Gizmo then because you had the other male. How many female dogs do you have?
These are from 2021. The dog was just born in 2021.
That's the last shots that we had.
Those are puppy shots.
My business partner does the shots himself. He does a lot of...
You know, this is not going to fare well for you. I don't think. Not that I'm prejudging. Okay, so tell me what happened. So now you took care of the dog, cleaned the dog up, brought the shots up to date, and?
And also, he was a 2-year-old dog. When I got the dog, he was not housebroken at all to be a 2-year-old dog.
Okay, so it's clear if the dog wasn't housebroken, the dog was kept crated most of the time. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the person with whom Sarah is now commiserating on the phone, he also keeps the dog crated because the dog wasn't housebroken.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a yes.
The dog is for business purposes.
I don't care what the purposes are. I just want to know how long this 2-year-old little French bulldog is kept in a crate, is what I asked you. By the way, I have to get some stuff in here so that you understand how business this is. You come from Georgia, correct?
Yes.
And we flew you here.
Yes.
And I assume you want us to fly you back.
Yes.
And when you're here, you're going to get an appearance fee.
Yes.
And you want that, right?
Yes.
Good. And so we're going to listen to whatever I tell you, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Because otherwise, you may have to learn to love sunny California so you can earn a bus ticket to go home.
Nah. No.
Got it?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
And you know, I don't say anything that I don't mean.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you had the dog for 4 months, and then you called him. And what I gather is you wanted the paperwork for the dog.
What?
Just that's what you said. You wanted the paperwork
Correct.
for the dog because you wanted to breed the dog.
Yes.
And after that call, he said to you, I want to come over and pick up the dog because I want to breed the dog once more.
Correct.
And you let him come and take the dog.
Correct. He was supposed to have him for 2 days.
After the 2 days, did you have any communication with him?
Yes. Actually, the defendant sent me a text message on July the 21st that he wanted to come pick the dog up.
Okay.
He was supposed to have him for 2 days.
May I see the messages,
So in 2
please?
days, I sent him a text message saying, okay, are
Got
you
it.
bringing Gizmo back today?
Oh, he had a lot to say.
Okay, sit down for 1 second, Sarah.
Anthony Williams claims his family friend, Michael Bowers, refuses to return his French bulldog, Gizmo. Michael says Anthony watched the dog, but never owned him.
Before I read this, which clearly says, Morning, Mike, that's you.
Yes, Your Honor.
You still bringing Gizmo today. That's July 23rd. And then July 24th, he writes again, Hey, Mike, you bringing Gizmo today? And then you answer him. And you say, no, they probably be done today, so I'll bring him tomorrow.
Yes.
Did you bring him?
No, the reason why I didn't bring him is not his dog to bring. He was just watching the dog for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let's hear about...
Yeah, so Logan had a lot to say. He is actually the papered owner of Stitch/Gizmo.
Yes.
And they purchased the dog in March of 21. They went 50-50 on the price, which was $5,000. They each paid $2,500 from a friend of Mr. Jean Pierre's in New Jersey, but said that he was in his care for maybe a week or two. The reason that they were asking him to watch the dog is because Mr. Jean Pierre had 5 dogs in his home, 3 females, and already had 1 male in the home with 3 females in heat. So to have 2 males in the house would have been a little rowdy. So they had the plaintiff take Gizmo for that period.
Is that what they told you?
I've never spoken to this other gentleman that she's spoken about, but when I spoke to the defendant,
Go ahead.
He said that he felt comfortable with the plaintiff taking the dog when the defendant presented it to him. Seemed like a good enough guy, like he would take care of him, had a nice house.
And he is the registered owner.
Yes, he said he's the only one. He has his last name. He's the only one with the AKC papers.
Okay.
He believed he forwarded a picture of it to the defendant prior to coming here today.
Fine. So from what I gather, he has a $2,500 investment in this dog, plus whatever shots it was, and they've used the dog for breeding.
Oh, twice. I asked how many times
Twice.
they've bred him. He said twice.
Twice. So now I want you to do the following, Sarah. I'd like you to call him back.
Oh, great.
This is a unique situation because I can't resolve this with a third party. Would you ask him if he is made financially whole? Will he agree to allow Mr. Williams to take the dog, which will be used strictly as a pet? You prepared to do that? Otherwise, I may not be able to resolve this, sir. Do you understand?
That's why I'm suing. I do want the dog back.
Just
the
a
only
second.
thing is
Do you understand? Which means that you're going to have the dog neutered and he will be a pet.
yes, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Find out.
And by financially whole, you're referring to the $2,500
that he said he invested. I don't care about him.
Okay.
May I say something, Your Honor?
Yes.
If you give me an order and we go back to Atlanta and I have to pick the dog up, I don't trust that the defendant will hand over the dog.
You're going to get the dog from his partner.
Well, Your Honor, I have other text messages of the defendant promising to bring this dog back to me because, at this
I'd
point...
like to see them.
Yes, at this point, I'm a dog person and I love the dog.
No, I don't believe you, sir.
Why would I give him a $10,000 dog that could just get back to my car?
Just a second.
That don't make
Oh,
no
I
common
believe him.
sense.
So you give a dog to somebody, you say, could you watch my dog for a week? And you have a partner. So if you have a partner and the living situation prevents you from keeping the dog, it's going to be for a longer period of time.
Excuse me, I have a lease that prevents me from having dogs.
I don't care if you have a lease or something from the Pope. It makes no difference. I believe you that you said you couldn't keep the dog for a while.
So that means I just give up ownership of the dog because
you never had ownership of the dog, sir. The dog belongs to somebody else.
Yes, I do. Me and him co-owns the dog.
He says that he owns the dog.
We co-own the dog. We got a business
good.
together.
That makes it even easier for me. May I have that, please?
That's the business license that we have together.
Yeah. You answered his question. Mike, you're going to bring Gizmo over. You're going to bring him back. Let me know. Please, you're coming back tomorrow. And you finally answer him. He is, but he is still with my friend right now. He's going to bring him back soon. The dog's just mated. And then Friday, August 18th, he says to you, what's up with Gizmo? Every day he's writing to you, what's up with Gizmo? When are you coming back with him? And you say to him, Friday, August 18th, yeah, I'm bringing him back before the weekend is over. Good, I miss him. How'd we do?
No dog. He does not wish to relinquish his rights to the dog. He thinks that even if the plaintiff is correct in his more monthly caring for the dog as opposed to what he said, which was a few weeks, nothing compares to the years since March of 21 that this third party has owned the dog and cared for him and made him a part of his family. So he's not interested.
That's just it, Your Honor. They don't care for the dog. The dog is just left in cages. Like I said, at the time that I got the dog, I had to bathe him, take him to the vet, get his nails cut.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, Mr. Bowers. Your partner says the dog has been with him for most of the time.
Between the two of them for most of the time, within the partnership of either Mr. Bowers or the third party.
Well, you can't be housebroken in one place and not be housebroken in another place. Either you keep the dog in a cage or you don't keep the dog in a cage or a crate.
Me personally, when he's with me, I don't have him in a cage. I don't believe in cages.
That's not true, Your Honor.
You just told me you did.
That's not true.
Whitney, can you go back? I thought he said, when I asked him about crate, do you keep the dog in a crate?
He might sleep in a crate, but he's not there all day long.
The dog wasn't housebroken, sir.
The dog was housebroken. You just taking his word for it. The dog was housebroken. It was at my house all the time.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Just a minute. You said at the beginning the word was crate, not cage, crate.
He did seem to care for the dog, and even when I mentioned the $2,500 and making him whole financially, he did not seem to waver in the slightest.
The plaintiff said he is not housebroken at all to be a 2-year-old dog. You said, so it's clear that the dog wasn't housebroken. The dog was kept crated most of the time. The defendant said, yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect.
Anthony Williams is accusing his family friend, Michael Bowers, of stealing his French bulldog, Gizmo. Michael claims he only asked Anthony to temporarily watch Gizmo.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
This is my conundrum. I'm prepared to rule today, and I'm taking at face value the fact that he and his partner co-own the dog. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. I cannot order the partner to relinquish the dog to you. I have no control. If I had the partner under my jurisdiction, if you had in fact sued the partner, I may be able to, but I can only rule on his ownership of the dog, which I am prepared to do today.
This is the first that I'm hearing about the co-owner.
partner.
I thought that, right.
I assume that this is the first you're hearing about.
Right, and for me, I feel like for me to be made whole, of course I would want the dog back. Like I said, I don't trust him in giving it back, but I feel like the only way that I can be made whole is for him to pay to get me another dog if I do not get Gizmo back.
No, you're going to be made whole by paying all of your bills for the time that you had the dog. Because you did that with the understanding from him that the dog was going to be yours. So economically, you'll be made whole. Now, emotionally, if you can't be made whole because you're not going to get the dog back, I can't order the dog back from the legal owner. But he has to hurt some.
He don't have any proof that I said he have the dog.
Mr. Bowers, I think you better quit while you're ahead, sir. You acknowledge the fact you did that he had the dog for 4 months. Do you want me to read that back to you?
Because my lease agreement does not allow me to have dogs.
I don't give a rat's behind about your lease agreement or any of your personal problems. Do you understand? If there was, in fact, a misunderstanding between the two of you, he suffered by treating the dog as his own, feeding it, taking it to the vet, having it groomed, and because of your misrepresentation, he's going to be made whole. Now, you can make your case to a judge locally, where you come from in Georgia, why you should have this dog, but I can't make a decision without having somebody here who is the titled owner of a property. Now, I want you to tell me, sir, what your vet bills were.
I think you...
Yeah. Maybe I know.
Have that paper. Your Honor, is there anything because this case was like very emotional. I had to take off work from this, and I do have paperwork from my doctor, because I was worried about the dog.
The dog is good, it's my dog.
But he wasn't good when you gave him to me.
He was up to date with everything.
He was up to date on the shots, but
I'm looking for something here in your paperwork. I have 368, 257.
Your Honor, and I also have paperwork of everything. I bought the dog off of Amazon, his monthly flea and tick, everything I have on there.
Must be at least $1,000 there.
If not
Correct.
more that I've spent.
Okay. Well, I'm adding up the vet bills now. The vet bills now also total very close to $1,000.
Can I say one other thing, Your Honor?
Sure.
Before you proceed? Even if I was not to get Gizmo back, I still would want animal control to go over to this address because the defendant
That's very, very easy, sir.
The defendant showed me videos of the conditions that the dog are staying in. And when I seen the videos, they were cages in someone's garage of dogs stacked on each other. So they're not taking care.
Why wouldn't you do that before?
I didn't know the address.
We'll do that.
Okay. Once you get animal control, Sarah will be more than happy to get on and indicate to animal control that in addition to you, I would like to see a report.
Okay.
If animal control takes any of these dogs, what I am going to indicate is that the American Kennel Club should add your name as a co-owner of the dog. Okay. That will prevent his partner, hopefully, that I've made this adjudication. Your name is to be added as co-owner, which means he can't sell these puppies without your permission. Do you understand?
Yes.
Tell that to your partner. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. In any event, we're going to issue that order to the American Kennel Club if that's where they're registered. I'm awarding you $2,500 in your lawsuit against the plaintiff, which covers all of your expenses, and $500 for your aggravation in bringing you here. It is absolutely appalling to me when I have a vision of these adorable little creatures that have no life at all except to breed and are kept in such a way, if it's true, that is so cruel and unkind, all for the purpose of a buck.
Yes.
Very, very sad to me.
Yes,
and I will do anything in my power to make uncomfortable a person who has chosen to do this as a business.
Yes, ma'am.
And not taken care of their creatures appropriately. Yes. So that's my judgment. And then I leave it to you what you do in Georgia to see if you can get Gizmo home.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good.
This court is adjourned.
I feel like it's strictly a business to them. They don't care about dogs. They're just about the money.
It was business on my end, and it was pets as well, but we bought it for business, but then we fell in love with the dog, so that's what happened.
The dog needed to not be crated. He just needed to be loved, a family, and trained, and well taken care of. And The most important thing is not sitting in a cage all day.
Dogs was not neglected. He don't have no proof of that. He just have he say, she say. He never even been there.
Well, I'm glad that Judge Judy saw through his lies and all the mess. I'm happy that I brought the case to Judge Judy, and I'm satisfied with the verdict.
I hope it all works out.
What I would hope happens as a result of my ruling today happens, which would be that the American Kennel Club would add the plaintiff's name as owner of the dog, because as between the plaintiff and the defendant, I believe that the defendant led the plaintiff to believe that this dog he was giving him the dog because he couldn't take care of it anymore because of his lease.
Sure.
So as between the two of them, the people that we had here today, I believe that the defendant gave up his interest in the dog. So I've just taken away from the defendant today any issue that he has no rights to this dog in a business.
Okay.
Now, hopefully the AKC will do what we want them to do. Who knows? Things may get interesting when they all return to Georgia.
Yeah, we shall see.
When you broke up, you took the car.
He was doing me a favor and gifted me the vehicle.
The discussion was for her to use the vehicle.
Then he took the car back.
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down. I'm not listening to you unless you tell me what law school you graduated from.
Harvard.
Was that just a wise-ass remark? Now you can leave.
This is Judy Justice. Reina Carreño Harvey is suing her ex-boyfriend, Hector Diaz, for trespassing and a stolen car.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 3133, Carreño Harvey versus Diaz.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Harvey, how long and during what period of time did you and Mr. Diaz live together?
We were together on and off since January of 2018.
There came a time, according to your complaint, when you were living together when you needed a car.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was in 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point, you had been living together about a year and a half.
Yes, ma'am.
You did what you're not supposed to do, which is just living together. You bought a car together, titled in both your names, and the loan was in both your names.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car did you buy?
A 2016 Ford Focus SE.
How much was it?
After taxes and title, about $14,000.
And how much was the loan?
$16,000.
Why?
The tags and title after taxes.
Okay. So it was a $16,000 loan.
Yes, ma'am.
That you both took out.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you handle the payments on the car?
I had the responsibility of the monthly payments.
Is that correct, Mr. Diaz?
Yes, ma'am. But the total of the loan was $14,000. The price of the car was $12,000. After everything was $14,000.
May I see, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. How much was put down on the car?
$1,000.
Who put it down?
Both of us.
And you made the car payments for how many months?
I would say the first 6 or 7 months duration of the loan.
Well, that's not the duration of the loan. You paid for 6 or 7 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 6 or 7 months. So you had a certain amount of equity in the car, but the car still had more than half of the loan still outstanding. So far, we correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, it is your claim that when you broke up, you took the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that the defendant came onto your property uninvited in 2023 and took the car back.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Diaz does not, stop playing with your papers.
Okay, yeah, ma'am.
Mr. Diaz does not deny that he came onto your property, took the car, had to have it rekeyed, and he took the car on what date?
October 17th, 2023.
However, Mr. Diaz says that when you broke up in 2021, you couldn't come to an agreement on the car because he's smart enough to know, I assume you are too, that if you broke up, the one who had possession of the car should be the only one on the title and the only one on the loan. We all understand that.
Yes.
Because we don't want a couple that's no longer a couple, somebody driving around with somebody else responsible for the payment, responsible for insurance. Okay. And Mr. Diaz says that you could not come to an agreement of how you were going to renegotiate the loan. You say he wouldn't help you renegotiate the loan.
He refused me to renegotiate the loan.
You mean to give you money?
No. What he refused is I wanted to refinance the vehicle solely to myself, and he denied me that.
He said no.
Yes.
Okay. Did he give you a 2014 Volkswagen?
Yes, it was gifted.
Okay. And that was in 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
So in 2021, because this is what Mr. Diaz says, he felt as if, based upon the fact that you had a certain amount of equity, you would put in $500 towards the car and made 6 or 7 payments on the car before you broke up, that you had a certain amount of equity. He had a 2014 Volkswagen that had no debt. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And he gave that car to you. That is correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he give you the title to that car?
Yes, ma'am.
And he took back the Ford Focus.
Yes, ma'am.
So he said, here's a car for you. It's free and clear. It's for the equity that you put in the car, and you accepted it.
No, ma'am.
Well, what did he give you the Volkswagen for?
So I could have transportation. He was doing me a favor and gifted me the vehicle.
And he took over the payments on the Focus.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you understand where it's going?
Yes.
He took over the payments on the Focus. He said, I'm more comfortable making the payments on the Focus, but I'll give you a car free and clear so you have transportation. And he took back the Focus, right? Yes. And he gave you the title for it. So you accepted this car that had some value, and you took it and you traded it in. Is that correct?
Yes, I sold it.
Sold it for how much?
$3,000.
And you took some of that money and you put it as a down payment for a Jeep.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was in 2022?
Yes.
What year Jeep did you buy?
A 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
And how much was it?
$11,000.
How much did you put down?
$1,500.
And so you kept the other $1,500. You sold it for $3,000. You sold the car he had given you for $3,000, took $1,500 of that, put it down. Don't say anything. I just want to know if I'm following this. Put it down on a nicer car, a Jeep, with a loan. And then you didn't pay that loan and that car got repossessed.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, Ms. Harvey, you evidently were still in contact with the defendant and let him know that you didn't have a car.
Yes, ma'am.
So he let you borrow the Focus.
No, ma'am. I took possession of the vehicle and continued payments on it.
How did you take possession of it?
We...
Wait, just a second. Let's start with when did you take possession of it? Month and year. That's after he already gave you $3,000, at least $3,000 worth of merchandise for your interest in the car. So tell me when you took the car back.
I would say in
On what?
the early...
Well, when did you go? You went to his house? How did you get the car back?
I met with him at his home, and we went to another dealership to give me the Ford, and he purchased a Mitsubishi. And I took possession of the Ford after we left the dealership with the Mitsubishi.
Well, that sounds like you're pretty chummy if he gave you back. What do you want?
Hi, I just wanted to say that I was present for the interaction when he gifted her the Beetle. During that interaction, what it was that her mother had passed away. She expressed that she could no longer make the payments. He said, I'll take the car back and continue payments, and I won't leave you without transportation so she can continue to get to work. And he gave her the Beetle.
He gave her an expensive car, which she subsequently sold, bought a car that she didn't make payments on that was repossessed. He's very smart for not letting...
She informed him that that was her intention with the vehicle.
Who cares? Sit.
Reina Carreño Harvey claims her ex-boyfriend, Hector Diaz, is responsible for stealing her car. Hector is countersuing Reina for locksmith costs and attorney fees.
Just so that we're all clear, you bought a car together, you broke up. You invested some money in the car, he invested some money in the car. When you broke up, he kept the car, the Ford Focus, and he gave you a car which you subsequently sold for $3,000, bought yourself a new car with a loan which you didn't pay, which got repossessed. And you're telling me he gave you the other car, the Focus. Is that what you're telling me? He gave you the Focus.
He gave me the Volkswagen, and he...
No, gave you back the Focus.
Yes, gave me back the Focus,
Gave you back the Focus after your Jeep had been repossessed.
Yes, ma'am.
That would make him the dumbest man in the world. That would make him really stupid. Month and year. Did she give me the month and year 2022? Was it 2022 or 2023?
It was 2022 when I got my Jeep.
Yeah, so it was 2023 when he came and took the Focus back.
Yes.
And how long had it been in your possession the second time when he says he loaned it to you because you said you didn't have any transportation? How long had it been in your possession?
Since after my Jeep got repossessed.
Just a second. Give me the month and year that your
July of 2022.
So in July of 2022, he gave you the Focus?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct, Mr. Diaz? Doesn't sound right to me. No.
We discussed the use of the Ford Focus in December, towards the middle of December 2022, and she had it until October of 2017 of 2023, which is whenever I went back and...
Just a second. Tell me what the discussion was in December of 2022.
For her to use the vehicle so she had a means of transportation, and then in me doing that, of course, I would go and purchase another vehicle so I would have a means of transportation. And,
I mean, were you dating?
Was,
Mr. Diaz, were you still dating at that time?
No, ma'am, not at that time.
How often did you see each other?
We still had communication through text and everything since...
Okay, I assumed you still liked her.
Yeah, to some degree, yes.
Yeah, I assume so. Okay, so in December of 2022, we discussed her taking the car and using it until...
December 2022.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
How long was she going to use it?
Until she could save enough to purchase a vehicle or otherwise.
Okay, and she would make the payments on it?
Yes, ma'am.
From January 2023?
2023, yes, ma'am. And
January 2023 until...
October 2023, yes, ma'am. But I was ahead on payments because I was paying more than the minimum, so she didn't have to make a payment until February of 2023, and she paid up to September of 2023.
Okay, and what were the payments on the car?
$238 and 10 cents.
So far, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
You said no, man. You want to listen very carefully. He's got very clear records. He said you didn't have to make your first payment until February 2023.
In January.
January what?
Of 2023.
January what? January
when the
1st,
bill was due.
January 1st, January 31st, January 15th.
The 22nd,
You're going to show me.
The 22nd of the month is when the bill was due.
Okay, so he had made the payments up until the end of January.
Yes.
And you made the payments until when?
From January until September, but I was going to pay October, but he took the car back before I could make the payment.
Okay, you didn't make the payment and he took the car back.
No, ma'am.
Just a second. What was the payout on the car? Because your answer says, Mr. Diaz, that you paid off the car.
Yes, ma'am. The final payoff amount was $6,873.99.
When did you pay that, sir?
October 11th of 2023.
Okay, so now you've paid off the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me why you paid off the car, Mr. Diaz.
Because we had it was an ongoing thing where she was trying to refinance the car in her name and not really pay me for any advancements that I made on the payment, any progress that I made on the payment. So I didn't want to take my name off the title without, being offered something back because I was ahead on the loan up to that point. So when around that in October, where we had it was an argument that really wasn't relating to the vehicle, but the vehicle dragged me into it.
Of course. So you had an argument. What was the argument about?
It was about kind of just in general spending habits and.
No, you have to explain that to me. What do you have to do with spending habits of each other's?
Well, I was also paying for the insurance from December 2022 forward. So I added her as a driver.
Okay, so she paid the payment on the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is $200, $200 and some odd dollars a month, and you paid for the insurance.
Yes, ma'am. But she paid me, I think, a month or two of those, and then from there, she either wasn't able to make a payment or didn't pay me for the insurance.
So you had the use of the car from late January of 2023 until September of 2023.
Until October 17th, the day that he took the car.
Okay. And so you had the use of a car for a relatively inexpensive cost, a couple of $100s a month. You couldn't rent a car for a couple of $100s a month. And it's clear that the person who spent, if you had to take apart the loan, the person who spent most money on this car is him, right? But I don't even have to get there. I would like to hear your theory. Why in the world would he give you a $3,000, at least a $3,000 gift after you broke up of a Volkswagen, and he kept the car, if not as in for a settlement of whatever you put in up until that time into the Ford Focus? Give me a reason.
It wasn't for a settlement, ma'am. He did it out of kindness of his heart, as well as he still loved me, and he gave me the vehicle so I would have a way to go to work.
Okay,
And
so,
transportation.
Ms. Harvey, you have no case. Your case is dismissed. Now, he's got a counterclaim. He's got the car?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Is it solely in your name?
No, ma'am. The title, when I paid it off, the title came in, so it still has both on the title.
Can I see the title, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I also have lost wages from him taking the car from me since October.
That's your problem. You're a grown woman.
Reina Carreño Harvey is accusing her ex-boyfriend, Hector Diaz, of trespassing and stealing her car. Hector is countersuing for locksmith costs and attorney fees.
I mean, if you took advantage of him because she still loved you, that doesn't necessarily mean you're entitled to this car or you're entitled to the lost wages because you took the car. From a layperson's perspective, Miss Harvey, what you did was you had a boyfriend, you bought a car in both your names. It was clearly designated for you as you were a couple. When you broke up, you couldn't make a decision, the two of you, as to how the car was going to get paid off so that it would be separate property. You agree that it should be separate property, right?
Yes.
Okay. Figure out where she signs over this title.
Your Honor.
Put your hand down. I'm not listening to you.
That's fine.
Unless you tell me what law school you graduated from.
Harvard.
Really? Really? Is that just a wise-ass remark?
No.
Really? When did you graduate from Harvard?
Was your comment about law school a wise remark?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now you can leave.
Thank
Put
you.
her out. There is no question in my mind that in an attempt to resolve the issue of the car, when you broke up, he kept the car, he made the payments, he gave you a car that was a perfectly reasonable running car that you elected to sell to buy yourself a nicer car. Irresponsible? Absolutely, because you bought a car that you couldn't pay for, and that car got repossessed. And if what you're telling me is you knew that he still cared about you, so he said to you, well, I'm going to give you the car, and I'm going to pay the whole thing off.
He paid the whole car off spitefully. No one asked him to pay for the car, car off.
Just a second, madam. You were overreaching. Unless there's something about this whole relationship that I think it's on the bottom that she signs it.
That's for a lien holder, so I'm not sure.
No,
I
it's
believe she
called-
was signed the back as seller to
Just a second.
remove her name.
You know where?
Yes, ma'am. And then also have the form so that I can apply for in Texas for...
Yeah, she's going to sign both. Where do you come from, by the way?
I'm from San Diego, California, and we both live in Texas now.
You both live in Texas?
Yes.
Okay.
There was three.
She's
He
gonna
may
make
want to
it-
show her where to.
What?
He may want to
Just
show
a
her where to
second.
sign.
Kevin, he's going to make an X where she has to sign on both forms.
You have a pen for me? Yes. Thank you, sir.
I haven't signed many titles in my time.
Miss Harvey, sign it. Both documents. Turn the documents to the defendant, Kevin.
Thank you, sir.
Now you paid off the car and now you own it.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a counterclaim. And the counterclaim is the cost of reclaiming the car and the locksmith cost to change the key.
Yes, ma'am.
You got the car back, sir. That was your primary concern. The car is now yours.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The plaintiff paid for, in effect, her monthly use of the car. She got her equity in the car with the 2014 Volkswagen, which she elected to sell.
Right.
Fair. So I don't think it's quite reasonable for her to have to pay your fees to repossess the car.
Understood.
Or even the attorney that you discussed the situation with.
Yes, ma'am.
So your counterclaim is dismissed. We're finished here.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned. This way, please.
I think what I presented to the judge was true and accurate.
I'm real happy with the decision. I think her lawsuit was frivolous to begin with, and overall justice was served.
Hector gave me the vehicle as a gift. I did make payments on the vehicle as well as have lost wages because of this.
She was trying to title jump, essentially, or, not register the car in her name or not have the pay. So she tried to claim it as a gift, but in the state of Texas, that doesn't go that way.
That he has my back, that he was going to be my protector and my solid ground to getting everything going.
Ultimately, yes, I do think that she was trying to benefit from the situation.
We have completely different personalities, yeah. So I'm a little bit more adventurous. He's very much stay in the house. And I mean, you can't choose who you love.
No, I'm happy to get the car back.
I think this was a really good lesson to young people, old people, anybody, that free and clear is always better than debt.
Than encumbered.
Yeah, than encumbered. And I think that she had the Volkswagen that he gave her free and clear. No liens, no debt, no payments to be made, no loans. And if I were her, I would have saved as much money as I could during that time. There was no claim that the car was defective or not running properly or a hazard in any way. I would have driven that car for as long until the wheels fell off to save money if I wanted a different car. I wouldn't go 2 weeks later, trade it in for a low value to get a car that I thought was flashier or nicer or whatever for to encumber yourself with more debt. And then default on that loan, and now you have no car. So I think, hindsight's 20/20 for her, but she should have just stuck with that car that was free and clear, and I don't know why she would have encumbered herself with more debt when she had this opportunity to save as much money as she could and potentially buy a car without a loan.
Yeah,
so
well, you're absolutely, you're right. But I think she felt as if she had a sucker.
Sure. It's a good lesson, though. It'll bite you in the butt once, and you won't do it again.
That's right. You have an accident with it?
No, ma'am.
Lucas Shire
I received it like
is
that.
suing
There was a
his
lot broken
former
on it, though,
friend,
and I feel like I should
Garrett
at least
Baker,
get reimbursed
for
for
a
that.
motorcycle
care what you
deposit
feel.
and breach
This
of contract.
is Judy Justice.
Court, come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 3135, Shire versus Baker.
Thank you. Mr. Shires, how long do you know Mr. Baker?
From now, I wouldn't be able to give you a time, but from when I bought the bike, probably about 4 months.
It is your claim that you purchased a bike, a motorbike or a
Lucas
dirt
Shire
bike?
Motorcycle.
is
From Mr.
suing
Baker.
his former friend,
You gave
Garrett
him,
Baker,
when you purchased
for
it,
a
a
motorcycle
$2,000 deposit.
and breach of
Yes, Your Honor.
contract.
And you were supposed to
Court,
make
come to
your
order.
first payment
All rise.
on
November.
November 1. Have a seat, please. Of 2023.
Case 3135, Shire
The
versus
total
Baker.
purchase price was how much? Mr. Shires, how long do you
$3,400.
know
Where
Mr.
did you get
Baker?
the
From
2000
now, I wouldn't be
from?
able to give you a time, but from when I bought the bike,
recently,
probably about 4 months.
my
It is your
apartment
claim
was
that
burnt
you
down,
purchased
so I
a
had some
bike,
GoFundMe
a
money.
motorbike
And then
or a
also
dirt
I had
bike?
money from a new
From
job I
Mr.
just
Baker.
started since.
Okay, just you gave him
Sorry.
when you purchased
Go
it,
back.
a $2,000
apartment
deposit. Burned down.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were supposed to make your
Yes.
first payment.
Yes,
on That's an apartment that you lived in alone of 2023. It was a rent-free.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you
total
go
purchase
after your
price was how
apartment
much?
burned down?
I was living with my mom for a
Where
few
did you
weeks.
get the 2,000 from?
And then I moved in with my friend.
I
who
have
didn't
recently,
help.
my
So
apartment
then
was
you went
burnt
back to
down,
live
so
with
I
your
had some
mother.
GoFundMe money, and then
It's
also
not
I
an
had money
answer.
from a new job I just
And
started.
when
since,
did you start this GoFundMe page? Let's go back.
I
Your
was not the one that
apartment
started
burned
it.
down. Who did?
My aunt.
What did you
Is it
start it
yes?
for?
Yes, ma'am.
My insurance
That's an
ran out on my
apartment that you
2
lived
weeks
in
before.
alone?
I thought I had insurance,
Yes,
but I
ma'am.
didn't.
There was a
So
rental.
you
didn't have renter's insurance.
Where did you go after your
So it
apartment
was
burned
to
down?
I was living with my mom for a
replace
few
the
weeks.
items
And
that you
then-
had lost
And then I moved in with my friend
in the
who lived
apartment.
his house.
Okay. So
Any
you went back to live with your mother.
clothes, is that what it was for?
It's not an answer.
And how much was raised on the
when
GoFundMe
did you
page?
start this
A little under
GoFundMe
$3,000.
page? So
I
of
was
the
not the one that started it.
$3,000,
Who did? My aunt.
What did she start
Good-hearted,
it for?
good-natured
My
people
insurance ran out on the
gave
apartment
you
2 weeks
to
before. I thought I
replace
had insurance,
the
but I
items
didn't.
that you
So
had
you
lost
didn't have
and
renter's
continued to
insurance?
live.
Not.
You bought a
So it was
motorcycle.
to
Not all of it. I would
Replace
say
the items that you
I'd
had
probably-
lost. $2,000 of it in the two-thirds of
Well,
it,
I-
and you put it
Any
down on a
furniture,
motorcycle.
The bank statement, I'm
clothes,
sorry I
is
didn't
that
say
what it
more.
was
In the
for?
bank statements I have,
And how
I
much
started
was
a
raised
job,
on the
and I bought the
GoFundMe
motorcycle like a
page?
couple months
A
after.
little under
the apartment burnt
$3,000.
down.
So
I
of the
probably used around
$3,000,
$2,000 in
first
clothes
payment on
and,
the
like,
motorcycle
to
was
help me
due
get back up
November
my
1st,
feet. So I have bank statements
2023.
from being paid for
You
my
did not
job,
make that
around
payment.
$1,400 I pulled
And the
out
defendant
for the
repossessed your
so,
bike.
yeah, the remainder $500
But it wasn't your
cash
bike
would've
yet
been,
because he
from
retained the
GoFundMe.
title
And then
until it was
August.
fully paid. First payment on the motorcycle was due November 1st,
And you had to buy the total of,
2023.
I think, about
You
4
did not
weeks,
make
is that
that
right?
payment.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Mr.
the
Shires, in the
defendant
4
repossessed
weeks
your
that you
bike. had the bike. Did
But
you
it
wasn't
have
your
an
bike
accident
yet
with
because
it?
he retained
No,
the title until
Did
it was
you
fully paid.
ever
You want your
tell
deposit
anyone
back.
that you had had
And you had the bike
some
a total
sort of an
I think about
accident
4
with the
weeks.
bike?
Is that
No,
right?
yes,
Is it
ma'am.
your
Mr. Shires,
testimony
in the
that
4
when
weeks
Mr.
that you
Baker
had the bike,
repossessed
did you have an accident
the bike,
with it?
it was in the
No, ma'am.
same condition
Did you
as
ever
it was
tell
when you
anyone
got the
that
bike
you had had
4 weeks before.
some sort of
Yes,
an
ma'am.
accident
Except for, I
with
mean,
the
maybe
bike?
tires got worn down
Is
a
it
little
your
bit, but they were already
testimony
really
that
bad
when Mr. Baker
tires.
so the only
repossessed
damage
the
was
bike,
the tires? It was in the same
Yeah, but I
condition
received it like that.
as it was
Mr.
when
Baker
you got
says
the
he
bike. Repossessed it because you were
Yes, ma'am.
late with
Except
your
for, I mean,
payments. He
maybe
went to
tires
get
got
it,
worn down a
and
little
you
bit,
gave
but
him
they were already really bad.
$50.
Well, may I say,
So the only damage was the
he said I
tires.
could be late.
Yeah,
I
but
called
I
him
received it
first
like
when I was
that.
in Kentucky.
Mr.
What were you
Baker
doing
says
in Kentucky?
he
I was,
repossessed it because
visiting
you were
family.
late with your
Why?
payments. He
It
went
was
to
just a
get
family
it,
trip.
and
My
you
aunt
gave
and my
him
mom rented a cabin,
$50.
Well,
and,
may I
they
say,
wanted me to tag along
he
and
gave,
tag
he said I
along,
could be
and I was
late.
just
I
visiting
called
my
him
aunt.
first when I was in Kentucky.
And you
What were
called
you
him
doing
and
in
told him
Kentucky?
that you were going to be late?
He texted me on the first.
Why?
He said, yeah.
On
it
the
was just a
first,
family
where's
trip.
my money?
My aunt and my
He just
mom
said,
rented
yo,
a
so I
cabin,
called him
and
and
told
wanted me
him
to tag
about where I
along
was.
and
And
tag along.
I did say in the phone call, I did say that I would.
And you called him and told him
was
that you were
upset
going to be
and
late?
paid today, on the first, I would have my aunt
On
send
the
the money
first, where's
digitally.
my money?
And I said, he just said,
yo,
yo,
so
so
I
I called
called
for me
him
if I paid
and
him
told him
cash
about
when I got
where I
back
was,
into town in
and
a few days.
I did say in the phone
And
call,
what did
I
he
did
say?
say
He
that
said,
I
call
would,
me when you get back into
if
town.
he
And
was
that was all that
upset and
was
wanted
in
to
the
be
phone
paid
call.
today,
Okay, and when
I
did
would
you
have
get
my
back
aunt
into
send the money
town?
I
digitally.
got back into town.
And I said,
November 2nd,
but it would
November
work
3rd
best
in
for
the middle
me
of the
if I
night.
paid him
Okay,
cash when I
and
got
what
back into
happened
town in a
next?
few
I
days
woke
and worried
up
about
on
it then.
3rd
And what
around
did he
1
say?
p.m.
He said, call me
and
when you
as
get
I
back
woke
into
up, I was
town.
in my pajamas.
And that was
I
all
had
that was in the
texted
phone call.
Garrett at all
Okay,
or
and when did you
anything,
get back into town?
I'd
I got
woken
back
up,
into
and
town
as I woke
November
up, I went to the
2nd,
living
November
room,
3rd
and I
in the middle of the
saw
night.
Garrett
Okay,
was
and
in
what
the driveway
happened
with
next?
his
I woke
another
up
motorcycle.
on 3rd around
He
1
was
p.m.
walking up to the door.
And as I woke
so
up, I was in my pajamas. I went to the front door to answer.
Garrett at
And
all or
I
anything,
answered the
and,
door, and
I'd woken up,
Okay,
and
then
as
let's
I
go
woke
very
up, I went to the
carefully
living room,
and very
I saw
slowly,
Garrett
Mr.
was in
Shires.
the driveway
You
with
answered the
another
door.
motorcycle.
So it was-
And he was walking up to the door
to go
so
riding.
since I saw him, I went to the
He
front
asked
door
me
to
where my
answer.
motorcycle
And
was.
I answered the door, and
I said it was a nice
Okay,
day.
let's go very
And I explained
carefully
to him
and
that the
very
motorcycle was
slowly,
at my
Mr.
work
Shires.
currently.
You answered the
keys were
door.
stuck up
So I
at
answered
Columbus,
the door,
so I couldn't
and
go
he
riding.
asked me
What was it
if I
doing
would
at
like
your
to go
work?
riding.
It was just
on
sitting
my
there.
motorcycle.
He asked
Because
me where my
so
motorcycle
what it
was,
is,
and
my
asked if I'd like to
keys
go out on a
were
ride,
on
and said it was a nice
day,
day,
and
some
I
keys
explained
that
to him that the motorcycle was
and so
at
they
my
totaled
work
this
currently,
car,
and
and
the keys were
stuck
stuck
up in Columbus,
and so I couldn't go riding.
What was it doing at your work?
It was just sitting there. Because so what it is,
Let's
my
go
keys
through that
were
slowly
on,
again.
were on some keys that got totaled, and so they totaled this car and moved
Lucas
the keys to
Shires
Columbus.
claims
so I
his
didn't
former
have to keep
friend,
the bike for
Garrett
like 2
Baker,
weeks. or a
owes
week
for the cost
or
of a
two.
motorcycle.
And so it was just
after
Let's
he
go through that
wrongfully
slowly
repossessed
again.
it. Garrett is countersuing, claiming Lucas damaged the motorcycle. Lucas Shires
The key
claims
to the
his
motorcycle
former friend
was on my car
Garrett
keys
Baker owes for
that
the
I had at
cost of
time,
a motorcycle
and the car
after
got
he
totaled,
wrongfully
and
repossessed
so
it.
they moved the car to
Garrett is
Columbus
countersuing,
since it was totaled,
claiming Lucas
and
damaged
they
the
wanted me to
motorcycle.
like asked
The
me if I wanted
key
to get
to
my
the
keys
motorcycle
off the totaled
was on my car
keys,
keys
so they were stuck up at
that I had
Columbus
at
for a week
time,
until I could
and
go get them.
the car got
Did you
totaled,
tell that to
and
Mr.
so they
Baker?
moved the car
Yes.
to Columbus.
That you didn't have
since it was
keys to
totaled.
it and the bike was sitting
And
at
they
your
wanted me to
workplace.
like asked me if I wanted to get my keys
in
off
person
the
and over
totaled
text
cars keys.
after that
So
date.
they were stuck up at
I'd like to
Columbus
see
for a
the
week until I
text.
could go get them.
Did you tell that to Mr. Baker?
Yes.
That you didn't have keys to it and the bike was sitting at your workplace?
Yes. I told them that in person and over text.
On what
after that
date, sir,
I'd like to
did
see
you
the text.
repossess the bike?
November 3rd, ma'am.
Now, I would like to see the photographs that you say were damaged, because at this point, you owe him $2,000.
On what date,
I don't think I
sir,
do.
did you
Well, I don't care what you
repossess the
think. What
bike?
you think is
November
irrelevant.
3rd, ma'am.
I have
Now,
no
I would
idea
like
what these
to
pictures
see
are.
the photographs. photographs. There is no way I have any idea what these pictures are. At this point,
that's the side of the motorcycle, all scratched up. I think I do.
I have no idea what this is. Can I see what you think is irrelevant? Did you take a picture? I have no idea
those were the pictures I took. I could show you off my cell phone.
There is no way I have any idea what these pictures are. I would like to see the whole bike.
That's the side of the motorcycle, all scratched up.
I have no idea what this is. Can I see a picture? I'll see your picture. Did you take a picture?
Those were the pictures I took. I could show you off my cell phone.
That's what I want. I would like to see the whole bike. Do you have a picture of the whole bike?
I have a picture of a bike from when I had it.
Now, do you have a picture of the whole bike? I'll see your picture and I'll see his. This is the day you got it, or when?
They're spread. The middle photo is the day I got it. The bottom and top are within that month,
now,
probably
do you
a couple
have a
weeks
picture
after.
of the whole bike, sir?
Video.
This is the day you got it? I'll take a look and see if there's a useless.
They're
I would assume that you have
the
a
middle
picture of
photo
the
is
whole
the day I
bike to
got
show me
it. The
damage.
bottom and top are
I have no idea
within
what that
that
is.
month, probably a couple weeks after.
Okay.
I have a video. I could show you. It's half of the bike.
I'll take a look and see if there's a useless. I would assume that you have
individual
picture of the whole
pictures in
bike to
there
show me
of
damage.
everything that was damaged
I have
up
no
close
idea
that you
what
could
that is.
see way more clearly.
No, that doesn't help me at all. There is a picture here of the Kawasaki bike that looks
I also
just
have
fine.
individual
you didn't know what you
pictures
were
in
showing
there
me.
of everything
Showing
that
you a lot
was
of junk,
damaged
but the
up
bike
close
is
that you
there,
could
it's
see
intact.
way more clearly. It wasn't like
The bike
it
is
was
there,
intact.
it's intact.
It was intact.
There's a picture here
you're
showing me tires and broken pieces. I don't know what you're
There was
showing.
a
It
lot
looks
broken
just
on it,
fine.
though.
You didn't know what you were
I feel like I
showing
should
me.
at least
You're
get
showing you a lot
reimbursed
of
for
junk,
that
but the
because I
bike is
feel
there,
like
it's intact.
it would be the right thing to do, honestly.
The bike is there, it's intact. You can't go and take his bike. He's 2 days late, and he's already given you 2/3 of the purchase price. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000.
For
We're
that
finished.
because I
Thank you
feel
very
like
much.
it would be the right thing to do, honestly.
I don't care what you feel. You can't go and take his bike if
I
he's
feel
2
pretty
days late,
disappointed.
and he's
I feel
already
like I
given
should
you
have been
2/3 of the
reimbursed for the
purchase price.
damages on the
Judgment for
motorcycle. I did
plaintiff in the
legally
amount of
repossess it.
$2,000.
I'm happy
We're
with what
finished.
happened
Thank you
today.
very
I'm so
much.
glad I was able to get my money back because, I mean, I really needed the vehicle at the time, and I felt like it was all thrown away. So
I feel
fast.
pretty disappointed. I feel like I should have been reimbursed for the damages on the motorcycle. I did legally repossess it.
I'm
Just
happy
a
with
bunch of little
what happened
things
today.
were
I'm
messed
so
up
glad I
with
was
it.
able to get my money back. No, there was no damage. When I was on my work, it was perfectly fine underneath that cover.
Probably not riding together or talking anymore. Handlebars were bent, and the tires needed new tires, and the headers were bent. Just a bunch of little things were messed up with it.
I did want to motorcycle. No, there was no damage. When I was on my work, it was perfectly fine underneath that cover.
Probably not riding together or talking anymore.
Our friendship was ruined whenever you stole the bike back. I mean, after I bought the
Run
bike,
into it a lot this season.
I mean, if there was damages, I would have wanted the bike back in full. I
Since
wouldn't
it
want to pay
started.
for it still.
And there had to be, sadly, the only thing I'm taking
reasonable,
I took away from this case was the GoFundMe page. Thoughtful,
We've run into it a lot this
starting
season
a
with the
GoFundMe
GoFundMe
page. Not
pages.
just this season, people who are really in distress, maybe, and that's the only avenue to get some money to help them. But it's with anything that's good. People will always find a way to scam us and starting a GoFundMe page. You know what it does, Sarah? You know, people who are really in distress, maybe, and that's the only avenue to get some money to help. Goodwill, but it's with anything that's all of this stuff. People will send them $50 a way to scam it. I'll send them $10.
But knowing that there's no guarantee of what that money is going to be used for.
Yeah, but they want to do it of a generous nature. I can't believe poor kitty lost all of this stuff. I'll send them $50 in this country. I'll send them not rich people $10.
But knowing that there's no guarantee of what that money is going to be used for. No, but they really think they're giving to a good cause, something
that's necessary.
the description and the GoFundMe pulls at their heartstrings or something. And then you find out he went and bought a motorcycle instead.
Or went on a vacation to the Bahamas.
They really think they're giving to a good cause, something
really that's necessary.
The description and the GoFundMe pulls at their heartstrings or something. And then you find out he went and bought a motorcycle instead.
Or went on a vacation to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Or didn't really have cancer.
Sure.
Or it's
a slippery slope.
Just such a shame that there are so many evil people who will take advantage of a good thing. She would say she failed to pay you money for moving furniture.
Yes, ma'am.
He did move stuff for you.
Sure.
That's not sure. We're not in a playground. The answer is yes.
Well, we were promised money constantly.
Listen, the doctor promised my mother that I'd be 5'6". You know how successful that was?
This is Judy Justice. Joseph Kendrew is suing his former boss, Natasha Sanderson, for unpaid wages and business expenses.
All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3157, Kendrew versus Sanderson.
Thank you. Ms. Sanderson, you own a staging business. Now, I know what that is. I'm not sure if everybody else knows what that is. Let me make it simple and tell me if I'm mistaken. You have a property that you want to sell that is either unfurnished or has furniture that's not great. Somebody hires your company. You have rental places where you go to fill up that house, office, whatever, to make it as good looking as possible in order to have somebody either rent it or buy it.
Yes.
And you're paid for your service. It's a staging business. Did I get that close?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. How long have you had the staging business?
Almost 4 years.
Do you have any employees?
I do not have employees. I have independent contractors.
Well, when you say you have independent contractors, Ms. Sanderson, you know, I'm an old person. And I know why people have independent contractors rather than having employees. Of course, that means they can pay him in cash, they can pay him in wampum, they can pay him in lira, they can pay him in whatever. Sometimes they 1099 him and sometimes they don't. These people who are independent contractors, what do they do for you?
Whenever we get hired for a job,
Who's a we?
My company. Whenever my company is contracted for a job.
Just a second. Your company, according to you.
Yes.
Period. So whenever you get hired to do a job and you protect yourself by being incorporated, I assume you are incorporated. I know what staging companies do. What I want to know is what your independent contractors do for you.
They move furniture for me. They're glorified movers.
Are they companies or are they individuals?
Sometimes companies, sometimes individuals that we hire.
Who's the we?
Me.
That you hire. Sometimes individuals. You see this gentleman over here, sitting over here in the black shirt?
I do.
Do you know him?
I do.
Who is he?
That's Justin Bakage.
And what does Justin do for you?
Justin no longer works with me.
What did he do for you?
He was an independent contractor that moved furniture.
Just a second. He was an independent contractor. Did he have a company? Look at me. Did he have a company?
No, not to my knowledge.
How did you pay him?
My company paid him via Venmo or
in
PayPal
cash
or
in
Cash App.
In cash, not a check.
Not a check, but sources that can be tracked by tax purposes.
Very good. And since he did not have a company and worked for you, did you 1099 him?
I attempted to.
Just a second. Did you 1099 him or did you not 1099 him?
I did not.
And how many years or months did you do moving for the defendant?
Started in end of May.
I like when people stand up when they talk to me. It makes me more comfortable.
Yeah, me too. I started like the end of May.
Of what
end of May of 2023, and then was done at the end of November.
How much were you paid?
$25 an hour.
Venmo or?
Yeah, however she could pay me. Like it would be sporadic.
Now, the time has long passed for 1099s. Did you receive a 1099 from Ms. Sanderson? And how much money did she pay you in total from May through November?
Like I said, sporadic, because I would send her my hours, and depends. Sometimes she would send me like 2 cash apps of $500 each, or a cash app of, maybe 1,000, something like that, or even smaller amounts. So like probably total, I don't know, probably around maybe 2,000-3,000, maybe.
Did she have anyone else moving for her?
Yes, Joe.
Other than him?
She did sometimes have a couple that would work for her. I never met them.
Do they still do work for you?
He does.
What does he do?
He's an independent contractor. He does moving.
And I assume you paid him the same way as you paid this gentleman?
Yes.
Did you 1099 them?
Yes.
How much did you say they earned last year?
One earned, I think, $9,500, and the other one earned, I think, $4,500, thereabouts. I'd have to go back and look.
Did you 1099 anyone else?
I attempted to contact Justin, and he did not return any phone calls, emails, or messages.
Well, when you hired him, you're supposed to get his information, social security number, address, etc.
Yes, he was collecting unemployment.
Joseph Kendrew is accusing his former boss, Natasha Sanderson, of owing for unpaid wages and business expenses.
Now, did you 1099 anyone else?
I attempted to contact Justin, and he did not return any phone calls, emails, or messages.
Well, when you hired him, you're supposed to get his information, social security number, address, etc.
Yes, he was collecting unemployment. So he was working for me while collecting unemployment.
And you?
No,
just a second. Yeah. I'm just asking you. That's something that you knew?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the reason why you didn't 1099 him?
No, I did attempt to 1099 him.
Well, why would you attempt to 1099 him, Miss Sanderson? I haven't started on you yet.
I didn't
Why would you attempt to 1099 him if you already knew that he was collecting unemployment, and one of the conditions of his employment was he was going to get paid in cash unreported? I mean, that was the agreement. You're a smart gal. I can tell you're a business person, so you're a smart gal. You understood that. Okie dokie. Good. Now, Mr. Kendro,
Yes.
how old are you?
39 years old.
What do you do for a living?
A financial consultant.
What training do you have to be a financial consultant?
I have a SEMA analyst designation. I work.
A what? Slowly, because Sarah doesn't take shorthand.
Yeah.
She's a professional. She's a lawyer. Lawyers don't know how to do important things like take shorthand or type or anything else like that. So don't try to confuse Sarah. That would be hard for you. You have a what in the who?
Your Honor, I went to college.
You went to college?
Yes, ma'am.
That was a long time ago.
That was a very long time ago.
Yes. And what was your major?
Finance.
Did you graduate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you have a degree,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
bachelor's degree with a major in finance.
Yes, ma'am.
Other than that?
Secondary education.
Like what?
It is a SEMA analyst designation.
For whom?
I started at Merrill Lynch and worked on Wall Street for 10 years. And since then.
Shh, just a second. Merrill Lynch for 10 years. Well, that's a start. How did you end up moving furniture?
Well,
Just think about what you're going to say to me now. You have family? Do you have family?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you have friends?
Yes.
Okay. So think of what you're going to say to me. You worked for Merrill Lynch for 10 years, you could say, as an analyst.
Yeah.
And then what?
And I moved to St. Pete approximately 2 years ago.
From where?
From Cleveland, Ohio. And
why?
I was ready for a new start. COVID had just happened, and I was living in a residential neighborhood. St. Petersburg offered a lot of things that Cleveland didn't, and I was ready for a new beginning.
You mean St. Petersburg, Florida?
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of things, including better weather.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a job there when you moved?
No.
Who did you move in with?
I lived by myself.
Living off savings, I assume.
Some savings, and I did some independent financial consulting for a company that was located in Cincinnati.
How did you get into furniture moving and staging?
I had met the gentleman, Justin Bakich, and there was another gentleman who was also moving furniture for Natasha that wasn't mentioned.
You know that person?
Yes.
Yeah, did he move furniture for you?
Twice or 3 times, maybe.
Well, then the answer is yes. How did you pay him?
Same way. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal.
Go ahead.
So I met these gentlemen, and as I mentioned, I'm single, and they had an opportunity, weekends working part-time, and I just said, I'm going to do this as an extra source of income, to have good habits, and to take advantage of the opportunity to start working with them.
That doesn't tell me how you met her. That tells me how you met him.
Justin was working for her. He called me up, said he had an opportunity.
Justin was working for her not a lot, according to Justin. According to Justin, he was working for her a little bit. Maybe he earned $2,000 or $3,000. That is what you told me, right? So he wasn't working.
That's what he was paid.
Just a shit.
That's what you said. I was paid. I was paid. I worked a lot more than that.
Well, then that makes you an idiot. You want to fess up to being an idiot?
No. It's a lot more complicated than that, but yes.
I think that you are. I heard you, so you're not an idiot.
Right.
And unless there's some other favors going on around here, you work for $2,000 or $3,000.
Well, we were promised money constantly.
Listen, the doctor promised my mother that I'd be 5'6". You know how successful that was? And you don't look like the kind of man that works off promises. Put your hand down. I don't need you. You're suing her for $8,000. You say she failed to pay you money that you actually worked for, moving furniture. So you actually worked a lot more than he did, because he only worked $2,000, $3,000 worth. You moved stuff for her and paid bills for her over $8,000. That's what you said right here.
Yes, okay. Your Honor.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I better get an honest answer from you, because you understand this will not be good for you if you don't.
Absolutely.
He did move stuff for you.
Yes.
Yes. And he moved for you, you know, this other person, whoever he was that only worked a little bit, he moved things for you at the same time that Justin moved things for you, or at different times?
Different times.
And how would you reach him?
Text messages.
Do you have some?
I do.
I'd like to take a look at them. I know what this is. I'm at Coolidge. Pics are in 4 minutes, then I need to go home and sleep or at least shower before we unload Brandon. Who wrote that?
That was likely me. That was likely me.
I need to go home and sleep or at least shower before we unload Brandon. Now that you're sending to him. There. Is a yes.
Yes.
Joseph Kendrew is accusing his former boss, Natasha Sanderson, of owing for unpaid wages and business expenses.
Okay. I need to go home and sleep or at least shower before we unload Brandon. Now that you're sending to him. There. Is a yes.
Yes.
And he says, you need sleep. I'm searching for help to unload the truck. And then you send him a number.
Yes.
I just texted her. And then you write an address. He says, got it. And then you say to him, don't forget the stuff in the garage, please. There's a warehouse and then there's a place, Brandon. So clearly in July, he's doing things for you.
Yes.
Do you pay him?
Yes.
How much?
I believe that's also there with you.
Okay.
All the payments are there.
Well, let's see. Also, furnishing, nothing broke. I don't sending out those invoices, collect that money. Here's my hours for the last month to yesterday, 87.5 hours. And then you say, break them down for me, please, right? And he does. He breaks them down for you. You get 91 hours, not included the hours calling, reaching me out to realtors, social media. I do that on my own. And then you send him $1,800. Is that right?
Correct.
You don't tell me in your complaint that she sent you $1,800.
I would love a 1099 for that, Your Honor, because I never got that money. And that's not to me.
Your Honor, that's me. She's texting me that. See, I worked as many hours as she did. Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's not.
Just stand up. Are these
those are my text messages. Yeah.
These are your text messages.
So all the hours he worked, I was working with him the same time because I was driving the truck every time. So all the hours he worked, I worked. She would pay me sparingly because I didn't have any other, I had some hardships with my jobs before. Sorry. So I needed to get paid for rent and stuff like that.
You said that she paid you for your work.
Yes.
$2,000 to $3,000. Just a second.
Yeah.
That's what you say to me. You don't look like a foolish man. You're not suing her for any more money.
Nope.
Right. Your friend, who you say worked with you, your friend, that's him, worked with you. That's what he did. He was on the truck with you.
Yes.
He's suing her for $8,000.
Yes. He didn't get paid a cent.
Well, just a minute. But you only got paid $2,000 to $3,000, and you said he worked with you. He's suing her for $8,000.
Well, so you 2 or 3. So I had the same hours as him.
Just a second.
No, go ahead.
I'm talking about what you told me. You told me that you made between $2,000 and $3,000. And that's what you told me. You made between $2,000 and $3,000. That was his job. You drove. He rode on the truck with you. As far as you know, did he ride on a truck with anyone else?
No.
So that at most, just pay attention to me. So that at most, if she paid you $2,000 to $3,000 by the hour, she would owe him $2,000 to $3,000 for working with you. Don't anyone else speak but you.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a simple girl. I'm a country girl. Simple. But if you, who look like a big, strong, strapping guy who gets a chance to work out and be in the sun, accepted $2,000 to $3,000 for the work that you did, and your buddy, who you met, said, come with me, we're going to move furniture, and he only worked with you, and you took, at most, $3,000. I'm trying to figure out where the $8,000 comes from.
Very simple. Well, so I would always text her, I need the money for rent, because I needed it. So she would send me, like I said, she was cash at me, a couple cash apps of $500, $200, something like that, so I could pay rent. She would not cash app him. Now, he actually put money into the business. He would pay some people, do stuff like that.
Oh, well, I have to see that.
We had that. He actually one time paid me $1,000 for the work I did. I thought it was from her, but it was actually his own pocket.
Well, then he's ridiculous.
Well, he's a good friend.
Just a second. He's not a good friend of hers. He just
met
her.
A friend of mine.
He just met her. And if you did work for which you didn't get paid, then I'm sorry, sir, that makes you an idiot. unless there's something else that's going on here that I don't understand, which is all very possible. Because if I wasn't getting paid, I wouldn't work anymore.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but we were promised a lot. Like, we were promised one house had a lien on it for like $15,000, so money was going to come in. That never happened.
I just continued to work.
And we did an Airbnb, him and I together, and we didn't get paid for that. I mean, we heard that she was paying these other two couple $2,500, and we got mad and we left one of the sites. We were mad because we weren't getting paid.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm. So that's why we stopped working, because we weren't getting paid.
Great. Okay, now you can sit.
Thank you.
So the next part of your claim, other than for these hours that you didn't get paid, and by the way, you have proof that you sent him this money and not Justin? Do you have proof that you sent the plaintiff this money through Cash App and not, your name is Justin, right?
Yes.
Not Justin.
No, I sent to Justin, not to Joseph.
You sent it to Justin?
Yes.
Well, then what did you show this to me for?
Because it shows where Justin brought Joseph to work for the first time. Not me asking for anybody to come to work. It was Justin was to come to work, and he brought his friend to work.
And?
I wasn't there. I went home to take a shower and go to bed.
How many times did he bring his friend to work?
Several.
Several. You have any communications with the plaintiff by text message? Is he going to be able to show me any text messages from you?
Sure. There ended up being a group message.
Right. So that you knew he was working with him on your behalf.
Sure.
That's not sure. We're not in a playground. The answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. And it would be fair to say, based upon this that you showed me, that has nothing to do with the plaintiff, that you paid him nothing.
Well, he was helping Justin.
I never...
Excuse me?
Sorry.
That's a question. Would it be a fair statement that you paid the plaintiff nothing?
Yes, correct. I didn't hire him.
Do you know that I don't believe you? You didn't pay him anything.
We never had an agreement.
It's bigger than just me. There's other people that were relying on her.
You knew he was working.
He never worked for me.
I don't believe you.
I'm telling the truth, Your Honor.
A little bit slippery. I think you're slick.
This is Judy Justice. Previously on Judy Justice.
You're suing her for $8,000. You say she failed to pay you money that you actually worked for, moving furniture. Clearly, in July, he's doing things for you.
Yes.
Do you pay him?
Yes.
According to Justin, he was working for a little bit. Maybe he earned $2,000 or $3,000. That is what you told me, right?
I worked a lot more than that.
Well, then that makes you an idiot. Because if I wasn't getting paid, I wouldn't work anymore.
He actually one time paid me $1,000 for the work I did.
Then he's ridiculous. If you did work for which you didn't get paid, then I'm sorry, sir, that makes you an idiot. Unless there's something else that's going on here that I don't understand, which is all very possible. Would it be a fair statement that you paid the plaintiff nothing?
Yes, correct. I didn't hire him.
And now, the conclusion. Joseph Kendrew is suing his former boss, Natasha Sanderson, for unpaid wages and business expenses.
Now, do you have any text messages as it relates to the work you did?
Fortunately, we were getting 75 to 100 messages a day. I do have plenty of other evidence that supports it, but I didn't
like what?
Starting with my hours broken down.
No, I don't want to see your hours. Sorry, that's not happening.
She had us go and take a group photo, pictures, and I was on the website. So for somebody that didn't want to hire me.
Just a second. You have a website? Is there a website? Give Sarah the name of the website.
If Justin could look it up, or I could find it on my phone.
Find it on your phone. I want to see that on your phone.
Okay.
I want Sarah to look it up.
Okay. Hey, and we also have.
No. That's what I want right now.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know that I have it readily available at this second, but I have it.
You have it readily available this second. I have all the time in the world.
It's on Instagram.
I have unlimited
My
tape.
phone's in airplane mode. You get it.
What is the name of our company?
LLC. And
Did you understand a word he said?
Yeah, I got it.
What? Did you understand what he said?
It was a little fast.
Justin, is the website on here?
Go to the Instagram.
I'm on there.
While Sarah was looking up your website, did you, in fact, post a picture of yourself and these two gentlemen on your website? The answer is either yes or no. Before she looks it up, which she's very good at, you saw the photograph that he wanted to show me. Did you, in fact, put that on your website? Either a yes
did
or
not. No.
Is it on your website?
I have no idea. I don't look at my website.
Justin, stand up, move over. Can I?
It's actually it's actually on the Instagram. I took over the Instagram for her because I was posting pictures of all the stuff we staged. I was reaching out to realtors. I was doing all that stuff. So I can show you the whole Instagram, everything.
I'd like to see.
And it has our pictures on there. It even has it at his apartment complex.
Just a
That's where we
second.
took these pictures. Sure.
I don't care what you posted on Instagram. I want to know what she posted on Instagram.
Everything that we posted on there, she knew about because she has access to it.
I don't care whether she had access to it or not, sir. One thing about being on her website, don't come over here.
Oh, sorry. Got excited. That was at his apartment, Your Honor. And then we did this photo shoot like a week later.
Oh, yes, that would be you. So you did photograph yourself in sort of a unfold the arms.
Oh, sorry.
You did, in fact, photograph yourself in a glam shot at your apartment?
Yes, sir.
At your
Yes, ma'am.
apartment?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
With the two of them?
Yes.
And introducing a team. Our best casual team picture. Guess whose brains and guess whose brawn? Tell me that you've never seen that.
I have not seen that, actually. I've seen the picture. I did not see that post.
They didn't Photoshop you into this picture?
No, I sat there, yes.
You sat there, so you know who he is.
Of course I know who he is.
Of course. And you knew that he was working. You knew he was working.
Justin, yes.
No.
Joseph?
The plaintiff. You knew he was working.
We
Why
went
would
to
you-
lunch with him that day. That wasn't a work day.
Oh, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Your friend, according to you, paid $2,000 to $3,000 from her. I'm going to split the difference, $2,500. Probably she owed you more if you worked with her, but let's say $2,500. We're going to split the difference. Did your friend Joseph work with you the entire time you
Absolutely.
worked for her? Shh. Worked for you the entire time. So all the time that you were working, delivering for her, etc., your friend was with you in the truck.
Yes, ma'am. And also, he actually worked with her by herself a couple of times, too, when I couldn't work. And I actually brought him in, and she knew I was bringing him in.
Is that 2 times?
But those two?
Yeah.
Multiple times they would work, and I'd meet them in my own car. He would actually drive the truck, or maybe she would. And I'd met them in my own car a couple of times.
Okay. Now, what arrangement? Now, you can sit down for the time being, Justin. Mr. Kendra, what financial arrangement did you have with the defendant? Yeah. Because clearly you were there for several months, and clearly there was no money forthcoming to you.
Joseph Kendrew is suing his former boss, Natasha Sanderson, for unpaid wages and business expenses.
What financial arrangement did you have with the defendant? Because clearly you were there for several months, and clearly there was no money forthcoming to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
So
Let me hear.
The first was a verbal contract.
No. Tell me what it was. Don't delineate as to what it is. That's for
$25
me.
an hour initially, starting for just moving furniture. Our relationship grew, and she wanted me to do financial consulting in addition to that, so the relationship grew. I have access to all their tax returns, their website, the bank, and as it proceeded, she was crying on my shoulder about her temporary financial emergency situation and that Justin wasn't going to get paid. She had just hired another employee or an independent contractor who has a family, responsibilities, and he quit his other job to come work for her on one of her job sites. He was going to leave after a week or two because he wasn't getting paid. It's bigger than just me. There's other people that were relying on her. So for me, I had already put in 230 hours, and I was trying to do the right thing. And if I didn't put in at least a little bit of money to try to finish these contracts, and it's a simple business. You take the furniture that's paid off, you set it up, you bill. For me, I felt trapped, and that was tough. But then I ended this, and this is the hardest part for me, was when we went to her house, and we found out that she's neglecting and abusing a dog that was left in a cage all day, every day. And Justin will tell you, at that point, I said enough is enough, and I severed the relationship.
I want to see what expenses you paid for the business.
Yes, ma'am.
And I did find her LLC. It was filed in 2020. And
when was the last time she filed tax returns? Do you know?
Under the FEI or the EIN number, it says applied for, but there's no date or EIN number, so I'm not sure.
So she never got an EIN number?
According to this, no. It says that the status is active, and it has a document number, but
she never got a tax identification number?
Not according to
Did you file tax returns in March?
I file them every year.
Did you file tax returns by March 15th of this year?
Not this year yet. We filed an extension.
Give me the name of your accountant.
I don't have it readily available right now.
Just a second. Give me the name of your accountant. Get it. It's in your phone.
I don't have it. My business partner has it.
I thought you owned the business yourself. Who are you?
I am Paula Heckenist. I met her doing hair and makeup.
Do you work for her?
Yes.
Stand. Spell your last name.
Heckenast.
First name?
Paula.
When did you start to work for Miss Sanderson and doing what?
About a year ago, she hired my company, City Lights Beauty Agency, to do her hair and makeup for a wedding. And I have been her hair and makeup artist for various events and photo shoots since. And I've been around for all of this nonsense.
I'm curious. So you don't work for her. You do her hair.
And makeup, yes.
And makeup.
Correct.
I have a lot of people that have been doing that job for years. As you see, no one terribly effectively because, look at this.
You can always hire me.
I wouldn't do that on a bet. I want to know how she pays you.
Cash.
How much did she pay you in the last year in cash?
It's about $300 a pop, so maybe $3,000.
Did she 1099 you in January?
No.
Of course not. Now you can sit down.
Okay.
So you don't have a tax ID number so that you can't file tax returns without a tax identification number?
I do have one.
Give it to Sarah.
This page was only updated January 18th of this year, so if it came sometime after that, it's possible.
January 18th of this year. Is that when you got a tax ID number?
Negative.
Okay.
The date is January 13th of 2021.
Did you file tax returns for 2022?
Yes.
How much did you earn in 2022?
I don't have that information available right now.
Generally, this is your only source of income, is that right?
I don't take a paycheck.
How do you support yourself?
I have alimony.
Do you know that I don't believe you? You do understand that?
I'm telling the truth, Your Honor.
Yeah. You paid Justin August 3rd, $1,400. You paid Justin $1,000. You paid Justin $330. You paid Justin $2,000. That's according to pay request. Now, my question to you, Justin, is 14, 24, 34, 44. She paid you about $5,000. That sound familiar to you?
Yeah, it's better. Yep.
Not 2 or 3.
Right. Okay.
Is that correct?
Plus another $2,000 that he took.
$2,000 he took from where?
From a job that he sold. He took the check from the client.
No, it was $1,500 that I did.
Just a second. Was it anything, Justin, in addition to the $5,000, did you take another check from a client?
It was the $1,500 that the stage that I sold, that I called in, I got it all.
And used her furniture
whatever
for
it is,
right?
How much an hour were you earning, Justin?
$25 an hour. And Your Honor, there's no way. Oh, sorry.
There's no way what?
I needed his help. I mean, we were doing.
Just a second. I didn't ask you any. You were mistaken as to the amount because according to this is PayPal request. That's how much it adds up to, $5,000.
Makes sense.
Which you probably owe taxes on, maybe not, if that's your only source of income. You paid Justin $5,000, and Justin says that the plaintiff worked with him on the truck for the entire time. He worked for you, with you, as an independent contractor.
Joseph Kindrew claims his former boss, Natasha Sanderson, owes for unpaid wages and business expenses he loaned to Natasha.
Now, you paid Justin $5,000, and Justin says that the plaintiff worked with him on the truck for the entire time. He worked for you, with you, as an independent contractor. you were aware of the fact that he walked on the truck with him. He was earning $25 an hour. So for $50 an hour, you were getting a mover and a driver to move your stuff.
Only I didn't hire Joseph.
Well, that certainly is a nice picture of you with the team.
That wasn't us working that day. I wouldn't be dressed in heels or a dress staging a home.
Madam, because you don't declare any money from this business that's clearly running cash, you don't think that I think that you worked for nothing for the past 3 years. You don't think that I think that you worked for nothing, because if I was in a business and I didn't earn any money, I would close the business and I would say, this is clearly not for me. So either you're not very smart or not very talented. I haven't figured out which one. I know that there's a certain lack of honesty about what you're telling me, because you handed this to me as proof that you paid him when this was not for him, it was for his friend.
Your Honor, I can explain it very well.
Then I'm all ears.
Every penny that the business has earned has gone right back into purchasing more furniture, more inventory. I own a box truck. I own a ton of furniture. We can stage up to 19 homes at one time. And all of that
If you're not making any money, I would close the business. If you're not making any money since 2021, I would close the business.
Well, I made it a promise to myself that if I could do this, because my alimony expires from the time I got divorced until 5 years, that I would put every penny back into the business so that I could grow. So that way, when I got to the end of the 5-year period, I could take the paycheck that would be the equivalent of what I was making in my alimony.
Nice. You didn't pay him anything.
We never had an agreement.
Okay, what other expenses did you pay for her?
You have the one sheet, and here's the other. Those are
Talking about the U-Haul and everything.
Yeah, things like the U-Haul, things, business lunches. I have it even categorized.
She was in the U-Haul.
Here a little easier, but my unpaid labor.
Doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me, Joseph. Your hours do it for me. Working for her does it for me. Going out to a restaurant to arrange for a telemarketing conference doesn't do it for me. Happy hour doesn't do it for me.
I have videos from that day as well.
Out. Out.
What is that?
Kevin, wake up. I put her out.
This way, please.
Okay.
These don't do it for me, sir. You understand? But I think that you worked for her. I think she knew you worked for her. I think she knew that that was the team. I think she advertised it. I think she certainly knew that you were with Justin on the truck, because it's hard to park and move. In any event, I believe she knew you were working for her. I also believe that the defendant is a little bit slippery.
He's a handyman. He owns his own business.
Mm-hmm. Did he work for you for a while?
He never worked for me. He was hired by the homeowners.
What homeowners?
The homeowners of the homes that needed work on them.
I think you're slick. When does your alimony stop?
3 more years.
Oh, well, so you're going to go 3 more years without drawing any money from this company? That's a real problem. Who's your partner? Is he a financial partner or is he a working partner?
He's a silent partner.
He's a silent partner because?
He put in money in the beginning.
How much did you put in?
I did not put any in.
How much of the LLC do you own?
I own 75%. He owns 25%.
Yeah, good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished here. Thank you very much. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
The judge was hard on me.
The cases are real, the people are real, and the rulings are final. It's great.
If that's the way it ends, that's the way it ends.
I mean, this is a good start.
He was never hired.
Pay your bills.
He was happy working for me. I don't know. I couldn't really tell you.
Take care of people.
I never authorized any of those expenses.
You do the right things, and that's all this is.
He kept showing up to work.
What else is she going to say?
We're not friends, and he keeps contacting my friends and my family.
She's slippery.
He's extorting me.
It's laughable. What do I think about it? I mean, countersuing, extortion. It'll get handled in court.
He's telling them to pay them $30,000 and he'll be quiet.
Meaning, we clearly worked for her. Why do I can show you all her tax returns. She has me on the truck. She had me doing financial consulting. She has nothing. There's no other evidence. There's no other answer she could possibly give than to just deny that.
He's saying that he can go to the IRS on me.
And at the end of the day, we were just trying to do the best we could to help her business.
I wish I never had him around.
Pay your bills, do the right things, and I'm glad part of this is behind me.
You know, I sort of got the feeling that they were three slicksters.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no question that the plaintiff did, in fact, work for her, worked for her with Justin.
Mm-hmm.
She clearly knew that he was working with Justin.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a charity.
Yep.
Of the three of them, I think she's slicker than those two brains
I
maybe
agree.
put together.
And on paper, maybe we thought it was all three of them, but by the end of it, the plaintiff and his witness seemed more credible, but more outraged by what she was doing to not only them and their other employees, but also this kind of dog that was in the mix.
I think that
was they most offended by their treatment of that, by her treatment of the animal. But I did think they were credible. He obviously did the work. I agreed with you about, you know, some of the dinners, things are a little slippery there, but he admitted to that. He said, okay, fine. And he
just
let
made me
that
for what
point
I
go.
did.
And he just wanted what he was owed for his labor, which I think he was 100% entitled to.
Right.
Case number 3075, Drake versus Wayne's Corner. All parties, please step forward.
Derek Drake is suing his former girlfriend, Rosvita Waynes Kerner, for an unpaid car loan.
Mr. Drake.
Yes, ma'am.
Is your claim that the defendant owes you $1,000 for the down payment that you gave her for a car?
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says she owes you nothing. It was your idea because you wanted better access to her. Ms. Kerner says that you owe her the same $1,000 because you destroyed or threw away some dresses that she had purchased for your sisters and gave you the dresses to hold until you saw your sisters and you disposed of them. She wants the value or what you paid for them. Mr. Drake, I found some of the papers interesting. How do you know Miss Kerner?
Well, we used to live in the same apartment complex. About 6 months ago, she moved out of the complex.
When she lived in the complex, did you have a relationship with her?
No, we were just friends.
Okay, who did you live with, sir?
I lived by myself.
And who did Miss Kerner live with?
She lived by herself.
And then she moved away?
Yes.
And you continued to see her?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, we became good friends, and when she moved away, we just carried on our friendship. She would come by and see me. I would go by and see her.
It wasn't a romantic relationship?
No.
Not romantic?
No.
Not intimate, just friends?
Just friends.
Okay. Tell me about the car loan.
Well, she came by my apartment one day, and she had an electric bike, and the bike, she said it was no good anymore. I said, well, would you like some more transportation? And she said, yes. I said, I can loan you $1,000 to buy you a vehicle if you pay me back. And she says, okay, I could take that loan. And I said, can you pay me back within 6 months because I was going to drunk driving school? I said, I'm going to graduate from drunk driving school in 6 months, so I need the money because I need to buy me a car.
You said I can loan you $1,000. Did you go with Miss Kerner to find a car?
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you get there?
One of her friends drove us. It was at a tow yard. It wasn't in the city of San Jose. It was right outside the city.
And did you have check or cash?
I had cash.
And you acknowledged that he put down $1,000 for the car?
Put down? Well,
I didn't say loan, Miss Kerner. I said you acknowledged that he put down $1,000 for the car.
He was there, yes.
How much? No, not he was there. he put down $1,000 for the car. Okay. And you paid a total of $1,700 for the car?
It probably totaled up after paying for the registration and stuff, okay? Because it was $1,250. Okay. And then he said that he was going to pay for the car and stuff, for the gas, because I didn't want a car. I was content with my bike, but he insists. So that's where the 7 comes in, because he wants me to pay back for the registration, the car.
How much did you pay?
Nothing.
So he paid the whole thing?
Yeah. He wanted it, yeah.
He only says he loaned you $1,000.
No. Well, if that's what he's saying, that's what he's saying, okay? But it came up to $1,250. And then the 17, it totals out, I guess, out for 17, I don't know how, but it totals out for the registration. So that's probably where it comes for $1,700.
How much did you put down on the car?
$1,000.
Well, where'd you get the other money from?
I don't know.
Well, you say in your complaint that she purchased the car, she found the car for $1,700. So I'm asking you, if you gave her $1,000, did she come up with $700?
I guess so.
Oh, my God. I'm getting very, very confused. All right. Now, Miss Kerner, Mr. Drake says that you were friends.
Mm-hmm.
You describe him in your answer as a Sancho.
A Sancho.
Sancho, what is that?
That's your, I guess people call it friends with benefits nowadays.
Friends with benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So are you suggesting that he had benefits?
Oh, yeah.
And is that why you used to bike ride to his house?
Yeah.
Shh. Clearly it was forgettable for him. Do you still have the car?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
What do you use it for?
For, like to go to the grocery store. I don't drive very much. So to go to the grocery store or to go and see my kids or take the dogs to the park. You know, I don't work. So.
Now, you have a sister? You have some sisters?
I have 4 sisters, Your Honor.
Did you invite Miss Kerner to travel at some point to your sisters for a party?
Well, we went down to Atlanta, Georgia in April, on April 28th, because my sister was her retirement party. And we was also going to go to Flint, Michigan on July 21st for my sister's birthday.
Okay. Did there come a time when Miss Kerner delivered some dresses to you for your sisters?
Yes, she delivered some dresses to me so we can take to Flint, Michigan on July 31st. But I was upset with her because she never even made me one payment. So I put them in the hallway, and I guess somebody took them. I did not throw them away or destroy them.
Well, you got rid of them if you put them in the hallway, sir.
Derek Drake claims his former girlfriend, Rosevita Waynes Kerner, owes for an unpaid car loan. Rosevita is countersuing Derek for the cost of designer dresses.
Where did you get the dresses from?
I got them from my mom. They were willed to me because she had passed.
So they were used dresses?
No, they weren't used dresses. Because
you didn't buy them?
No, but they weren't used. My mom was a shopaholic, and so she left me these wonderful dresses, but they were for taller women. His sisters were tall. I'm not going to send no junky, trashy dresses to, impress his family with, And so they're all name brand, nice dresses, really pretty. Ask him, he's seen them all.
They were beautiful.
I'm not going to send nothing tacky. And so I asked him for the dresses back when he copped his attitude. And he told me he put them out in the hall.
He copped an attitude about what?
About the car.
What about the car?
Okay, let me tell you what happened, okay? I have this fatal attraction person that's like all up in my grill. I want nothing to do with him. So he got a hold of his phone number, called him, told him I was driving all these men around town, and he copped the attitude about me driving, and which I was not because I don't like to drive. I'm 61 years old. Why am I going to drive some dudes around town for? They're going to drive me around town and take me to go eat. So he copped the attitude, and then I found out I'm getting paper in the mail about I'm being sued. Okay, and then I asked him 4 days later, I says, because I waited, maybe he's going to call or something. And he didn't. And then I asked him about the dresses. And that's when he told me he put them out. I says, why you put those dresses out? Why didn't you just call me? And he just, I don't have to call you, blah, 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 blah. Well, so I just turned around and walked away.
Tell me about the car.
Okay.
He told me his version about the car.
Okay. So the car, he kept on telling me, Rose, let me buy you a car. Let me get you a car. I'm going to get you a car. I'm going to get you a car. No, I'm cool. I don't want the car. I'm happy with my bike because I don't drive.
Okay. After you bought the car, did you drive in the car to go to any vacations with his family?
No, because his family's not here. But we did drive to the airport. That's what the main thing was, just to go to the airport, get us there, and then when we get back, the car was there, so we can drive back home.
Where did you go? From what to the airport? When you went to the airport, where did you travel to?
To the airport.
And then where did you go?
To Atlanta.
From where?
From San Jose.
Who purchased the tickets?
He did.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
How come you bought tickets to take her anywhere? Just because she was a friend?
Because she was a very good friend.
How much is a very good friend?
Well, I wanted her to meet my sisters down in Atlanta, Georgia, because she was retiring. And I just wanted her to meet them.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, if she was just a friend, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, she was a close friend.
How close?
Very close. And I just wanted her to meet my family.
Okay, she was a very close friend.
Yes, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay. You see, he's more chivalrous than you are.
Oh, okay.
He's more chivalrous than you are. Anything else either one of you want to tell me? Did you get angry, by the way? You saw something that was written somewhere that she was driving with men in the car. Who told you that?
I guess one of her friends called me up and told me all this. But
Don't tell me you guess.
I got upset because she wasn't paying back the loan.
Nah, I don't think so. How much were the tickets from California to
They were
Atlanta?
$1,600.
That's very expensive.
Yes, it is.
$1,600 for both?
Yes.
And when you got there, where did you stay?
We stayed at my sister's house in Atlanta.
The next trip that you were supposed to take, did you have to fly there for the retirement
yes,
party?
we was gonna go to Flint, Michigan on July 21st for my sister's birthday.
How were you going to get there?
We was gonna fly.
And you were going to buy the tickets?
Yes.
Sounds like a very good friend.
Very good, yes. But we never took that trip.
I understand. Did you drive anywhere else with Miss Kerner in the car?
No.
Did she take you to work?
No.
Did she take you anyplace else? Did you go out for dinner?
No.
She just drove back and forth to your house?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when she drove back and forth to your house, did she ever stay over?
No.
She came at what time, and what time did she leave when she would come to visit?
She would come at around 1 o'clock in the morning. She would leave about 2 or 3.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Drake, I know that you were probably annoyed that you heard from her friend that she was using this car that you purchased for her, and she was taking other people around in the car. So I know that was probably an annoyance for you. But that doesn't create a loan. I don't believe it was a loan, Mr. Drake. I think she's more accurate, and you learn something new every day. Sancho. Yeah. Okay, which I believe is probably accurate. And you have no value on these dresses. There is no...
Yes, I pulled them up online, okay? And what they look like, you know, and...
And you gave them away. You gave them to him.
Well, yeah, to his, you know, to give to his sisters,
Okay.
not to throw away.
You're not getting any money from him.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay?
I'm good with it.
You got a car out of it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good...
It's just a point, Judge, that's all.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I know I didn't win and she didn't win, but life goes on. You know, life is good. It's just another day.
Well, it's all good with me. I mean, hell, I got a free car out of it.
How she was driving other guys around in the car that I bought, that I paid for.
Hell no.
But I found out later on that they were just making that up.
Because he had said, when I would go see him, he had said, you know, oh, you driving all kinds of men in the car?
I asked her and she said no, and I found out that she was telling the truth.
I'm all like, dude, why am I gonna be driving dudes around in my car?
I guess you could say that I am her Sancho.
No Sancho for me, no more. I'm good.
You know, when you asked him what time his friend came to visit him when she upgraded from the electric bike to the car, I had my pencil ready. I was ready to write, you know, after work or maybe before if she was going to take him. You know, the normal hours, 1 to 2 in the morning. You know, you learn something new every day.
I certainly did. I learned what a Sancho was.
Okay, yeah.
Is suing her client, Danny Velasquez, for dance class fees.
Court coming to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 2086, Renner versus Velasquez.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Renner, you run a dance studio.
I do.
How long have you had it?
30 years.
And what age children do you teach?
We have a Mommy and Me class, which starts at 18 months, and our oldest student is 19 years old.
And Miss Velasquez has a daughter. Mm-hmm. And she was at your school during what period of time?
She started in June of 2020, and she quit in June of this year.
Your lawsuit is simple. You claim that Miss Velasquez owes you money for her daughter's dance lessons.
Yes.
The defendant actually disavows owing you any money. She said that you actually behaved in a mean-spirited way in not allowing her daughter to finish her recital. So I'm trying to think back to my days when I was 6 and 7. And if I remember correctly, the name of the school that I went to, and I know that this is not something that everybody is breathless to hear about, but I haven't had one of these cases. And I was thinking back to Miss Nottage, who had a dancing school in her home on Parkside Avenue in Brooklyn. And I do remember that you took classes I took toe, tap, ballet, and acrobatics, which was not my strong suit. Any of them, none of them were my strong suit. Father always said that I should sue the city because they built the sidewalk too close to my behind because my legs are short. So being a ballerina was really not physically possible for me, but in my mind, I thought I was a ballerina. Anyway, as do most little girls, I assume. So you worked during the year, and at the end of the year of your dance class, I remember you gave a recital. Everybody got all excited and dressed for the recital. I assume that's what happens in your class. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a yes.
Yes.
Did you have a contract with Ms. Velasquez?
I have a registration form which acknowledges receipt of studio policies.
Well, policies is not a contract, but I'll take a look at it anyway. The question is, do you have a signed contract with her?
No.
Okay. May I take a look at that? According to these policies, which are not a written contract because she has not signed this document in particular, you say you acknowledge receipt of it. What it mostly is tell them what the instructions are and give you a release of liability. It does indicate here that full tuition is due on the first class of each month. And how much was the tuition for Miss Velasquez's daughter?
From January through June, it was $170 a month. And then from September through December, it was $165 a month.
Okay, so around $170 a month. And I assume she was current on her tuition in 2020. And in 2020, did Miss Velasquez make her payments on the first of each month?
Well, I can't say exactly on the first, but yes, it was always current, which is why...
That's not what I asked you. Was it made pursuant to your policies here on the first of each month?
I don't know. I don't remember specifically.
What about in 2021? Were her payments made on the first of each month?
No.
When did she stop making payments in 2021 on the first of each month?
Well, I have emailed spreadsheets here, and so starting in December, she asked me if she could make small payments, increments throughout the month because she was a single mother and wasn't able to make the full payment on the first.
So you said yes, that she could make payments incrementally. Mm-hmm. And do you have that same arrangement with some other parents?
I do.
How many other parents do you have that arrangement with?
Well, anybody who asks in...
How many? You run the school.
5.
How many students do you have?
5.
Okay. So you have that arrangement with this mother plus 5? Mm-hmm. And that is inconsistent with your policies.
Yes.
That would be a yes. Now, tell me what happened, Miss Velasquez, that caused you to fall behind in your payments. You acknowledge you fell behind in your payments.
Yes, I do.
When did you fall behind in your payments?
I asked Ms. Renner if I could start making payments in September of 2021, which I have written as well, if you would like to see that. And in October, I didn't pay anything because my father passed away. And I explained that to her, and then I made up for it in November through payments, and I just continued to pay as I could with being a single mom.
Well, that's not a reason to not pay her, being a single mom, as you could. You understand that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm sure you're doing the best you can. You're trying to give your little girl, how old is she?
9.
9. Trying to give her the best possible experience. It's all wonderful, but this is her business. And if you owe her money, then you owe her money. Mm-hmm. Since the policies are honored and sometimes not, there is one part of your policy, even though that this is a contract that I actually find ridiculous, because in your lawsuit, you claim you're owed $946 and $7,169.76 interest. That's not happening. And it's not happening. You gave me an easy out because you really don't enforce your own policies.
I try to be kind to people who
and I
need
try
help.
to be kind too. Being kind is not suing somebody for $900 and suing them for $9,000. That's not being kind, because, you know, there's no question that you agree that you owe her some money.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's an unconscionable, even if there was a contract for it, I would probably find it an unconscionable piece for somebody who owes you less than $1,000 and you want $7,200 because it includes interest. I find that ridiculous. How many students were in Miss Velasquez's class?
Approximately 18.
When you say approximately 18, the number varied based on what?
Well, my memory, it was either 18 or 19 children. I don't remember how many. That's a very large class.
Are you the sole teacher?
Well, I do the ballet, and I have a teacher who teaches the jazz class.
Your daughter takes ballet or jazz, or both?
Yeah.
Your daughter stopped going to school when?
May 17th.
Tell me the circumstances.
That was when I got a ledger from the studio that said that I owed $965. And my math was thinking I was closer to like $360. So I kept messaging and asking where the confusion was. And I didn't get a response until May 27th.
That said what?
That said I owed $1,300. And this was from Miss Jenny.
And that was for late fees? What was it for?
The dance team and the costumes for the recital that was coming up.
Okay. Well, do you have a ledger? And I'd like to see your ledger. So far, I have, according to you, what you owe, because you did a breakdown of what you owe. It is your claim that you owe $846, correct?
Yep.
And she says you owe $946. That's without the interest and the late fees.
Yeah.
So you are actually, based upon raw numbers, $100 apart.
I have an email from her stating that she owes $947.
I'd like to see it, please.
And later today, claims her client, Danny Velasquez, owes for dance class fees.
Okay, so in this email, you acknowledge owing $586 and then $360 for team. What is team?
They did like competition teams that I allowed my daughter to be on. Before I let her audition, I made sure that Jenny was okay with my payments, and I sent it all in.
No, I'm just reading the email, which seems to acknowledge that you owed her $947.
Yeah, so the team portion was $361, which is what I thought was owed.
No, you said team, and your regular tuition said that I owed $1,301 when I only owed $586. So $586 and $361 and $947.
You're correct. I just couldn't get any accurate numbers.
I'm taking your numbers that you acknowledge.
Right. First she said it was $1,647 I owed, then she said $1,400.
Right now I have, she says amount owed $946. You said it was $947. So let's say it's $947. And that's without late fees and without interest. So you would consider that a fair number.
Yeah.
And Ms. Rayner, you would consider that a fair number?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This court